Alright, video 3. It turns out these scripts are much easier to build when I actually play the game first. Confession, the last 2 videos were done from memory. Look at all this. Look at this. Look at this part. I was running around this game like... What's this? What's this? There's something in the air. What's this? There's monsters everywhere. So that covers environments. And yeah, it's another side-scrolling pixelated shooter. There's a chance I didn't notice that after starting the game. And these things take too long to redo once you've begun, but at least we're on a new system. The thing about the Game Boy Advance is that even though they added shoulder buttons for greater functionality, developers were still limited in the scope of what they were able to do. None of this 4 face buttons, 2 analog sticks, 1 D-pad, option screenshot, touchpad. I mean, what is this thing even used for? For God's sake, the Super Nintendo controller had 2 more buttons than this thing, and a ton of the best games were either remakes or ports from that or the Game Boy. But not all of them. Oh, baby. Did Nintendo lay down one of the most tragically underappreciated titles with this one. Some of you youngins have had the luxury of excellent handhelds throughout your childhood. But when we millennials were growing up, Nintendo was like... Not yet! I mean, don't get me wrong, there were some great originals on the Game Boy Advance. But at the time of release, more than half the Metroid games looked like this. We'd seen Samus in a few other games up to this point. Spoiler alert, it's Smash again. But the last time she starred in her own title was Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo, and I never owned that console. So when Metroid Fusion was announced, I was like, hell yeah! I can finally be that girl with the giant balls. The gist of this game is that you encounter an alien virus called X that strips Samus of her powers. It's kind of like the game where Samus gets stripped of her powers, or the one where she's stripped of her powers, or the one where she doesn't have her powers. But it's a strong opening mechanic because it allows you to slowly build your arsenal over time, which instills a sense of progress. You might recall how in Contra the game starts you with your dinky little semi-automatic rifle. Well, the same thing happens here, except the whole game feels awesome no matter what abilities you have. This thing's like... which has a cool sound but has no real impact, whereas Samus in Metroid Fusion is more like, looks good, sounds good, and it even has great visual feedback. It's starting to become clear how some of the best games just feel good to play, and Metroid Fusion highlights this by permeating its entire experience with that in mind. Jumping is just the right height, missiles have weight and impact, and when you charge up your primary weapon, you're like...
Go ahead. Make my day.
Even curling up into a little ball is fun. Wait, where have I heard that sound before? Oh my god. There's so much to talk about with this game, I'm not even sure how to organize it. Who said a game with pixel art can't communicate a narrative? Probably no one, because a lot of modern pixel art games have managed to do it, but back in the day this was far more rare. All 5 of you that have watched both my previous videos have probably figured out by now how much I love atmosphere. Check out how Metroid Fusion introduces the villain. Oh, fuck! Shit! Jesus Christ! After running around and completing the other tasks assigned to you by your commanding officer, which is just this guy, he's a piece of artificial intelligence. Come on, try to keep up. You check in and he's like, yo, that thing you saw earlier? It's an X virus that's mimicking you. I've named it the SAX, which I assume stands for Samus Aran X. Very clever, Nintendo. Your AI goes on to be like, the SAX is mimicking you at full power. Remember how we were basically naked? You can't face it. If you see the SAX, just run. This is professional mood setting. And let me tell you, this is not lying. When you encounter this thing, all the music cuts out and you get those creepy footsteps you heard earlier. My 10-year-old self was like, alright, hey, we can take this guy. Who cares what the AI said earlier? Yo, bitch, what's up? Holy shit, my help! I'm sorry. I'll never doubt you again, AI. Okay. Is it over? I'm sorry. And it's not the most melodically innovative game, but if you noticed, the music sets the tone perfectly for different events. One of my favorite atmospheric moments with music is the freezer room. I won't say too much about it because I want to leave some of the magic for the game itself, but when you first walk in this room and run down to the end of the hall, there's a like button waiting to be smashed for the YouTube algorithm. One piece of advice though, bomb everything. There's secrets everywhere. No, not that game.
Use bombs wisely!
Apparently I'm terrible at finding secrets, but what I can tell you is your biggest secret finder is the big boy. Perfect example is when I finally started taking notes while recording. I found this little water tunnel thing where you run in, drop a bomb. Wait, that's the wrong one. Yeah, there we go. And then you come over here and you point your gun at it and you go pow, 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 pow. So you jump up here, you kill the fish, and then you jump. Wait, where is it? You jump. I was pretty sure this was it. Yeah, see? Shrimps. Look, here's a dead end. See how suspicious this looks? Just jump up, place a little bomb here. Woo! See? See what I mean? Now you got this little crevasse. What are we gonna do? Drop the bomb, kill all these guys on the left. And wait, maybe this is one that doesn't do anything? Maybe it's down here. Drop a little bomb. Wait for it to explode. Why did I record this? Anyways, that's another cool part of the game design that few games master, which is having you unlock new parts of the world with the abilities you earn. Eventually, you get super fast run. I don't know what this is called. Lightning dash. You use it to break through blocks you previously couldn't destroy, and it's really fun, except for when it gets broken up by screen transitions. I made it. And you know what else? You know what else I never considered a big deal until sequelitis pointed it out in the Zelda franchise? Waiting.
Why do I gotta wait?
Why is it that 2D games are the only ones capable of accomplishing tasks quickly? Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime were released a day apart. Metroid Prime was the first 3D Metroid game ever made. It's a great game. It's considered a classic. But look at this. Look at this. This is how long it takes to recharge in Metroid Prime. In Metroid Fusion, you run in, charge your shit, and you're done.
In Link to the Past, you equip a mirror, press a button, you're there.
Pacing. It doesn't just apply to the convenient moments either. As you're leaving one level, you start getting this foreshadowing of one of the bosses to come. What was that? Alright, I guess it's got. Holy shit! This creates a looming threat and a somewhat fearful curiosity about what's to come. That way, when your AI assistant tells you about an explosion in another section of the ship, you walk in like, oh shit, we could have done all this damage. Oh my god, he's just as terrifying as I'd imagined! And guess what, subject? That brings us back to boss battle! They're not crazy hard or anything, or maybe it's just because I still have them memorized since childhood, but there's just something to be said about a good boss battle in a side-scroller. Without spoiling too many of them, there's Spider Robot, Monkey Spider, Spider Monkey, and you know you fight at the end. Or do you? And I haven't mentioned this in the past videos, but actually purchasing these systems and games in real life is an alternative to the apparently not so legal suggestions I advertised in my first two videos. If you have a suggestion for future games you want to see, comment! I figure I'll give myself a challenge by trying out a game I haven't played before, and some of these can get real frustrating, so if I ever miss an upload, you'll know you've defeated me. Hit that bell!